What if I told you the voice in your head, the one that says you're not good enough, was never really yours? This is where the journey begins. Most people grow up thinking that their thoughts are their own. But what if many of those thoughts were planted in you? The self-doubt voice is often just an echo of things you've heard before, from parents, teachers, society. It repeats stories of fear and failure over and over until you start to believe them. But deep down, something doesn't feel right. That voice, cold, judgmental, always pulling you down, doesn't sound like truth. It sounds like programming. To quiet the voice, we first have to see where it came from. This part takes us back to childhood, where so much of this began. When we were little, we learned what made us lovable and what made us punished. We picked up on the rules. We learned to seek approval. Slowly, a voice grew inside us that said, "Be careful, don't be too much, you'll fail." Psychologists call it the inner critic. Ancient teachings call it illusion, Maya. Whatever name it goes by, the pattern is the same. The world trains us to doubt ourselves. We'll look at how this voice formed through fear, rejection, and culture, and how the modern world, especially social media and advertising, makes it worse by telling us we're not enough unless we fix ourselves. This voice in your head, it sounds like it knows you. It sounds smart, rational, familiar, but it's not the real you. This section reveals something surprising. Self-doubt doesn't shout. It whispers. It pretends to be your common sense, your logic, your conscience. But what it really is fear, dressed up like wisdom. We talk about how this voice took on the tone of parents, teachers, and old wounds. It became a false authority, a fake version of you that keeps you small. We use a simple image. Imagine your mind is a courtroom, but the judge has been corrupted. That judge is the doubt voice, harsh, always finding you guilty, always expecting the worst. But you don't have to obey it. Once you see this voice for what it really is, a scared recording, it starts to lose its grip. You're not the voice. You're the one hearing it. If you're not the voice, then who are you? We introduce the idea of the observer, the real you. This comes from ancient spiritual teachings and modern thinkers alike. The observer doesn't judge, it doesn't panic, it simply watches, and it knows. In that still space, the self-doubt voice becomes just noise, like a passing cloud. You start to see it's not the truth, it's just a habit. Now here's a twist. What if the self-doubt voice isn't evil, but misunderstood? Sometimes that voice is trying to protect us, it just doesn't know how. It says, "Don't try," when it really means, "I'm scared you'll get hurt." It says, "You're not good enough," when it really means, "Please be careful." This section teaches how to listen differently. Instead of pushing the voice away, we turn it into a messenger. What is it trying to say underneath the fear? We introduce ideas from shadow work and healing, facing the parts of us we usually avoid. When you meet the voice with kindness, something shifts. It softens. It loses its sharp edge. Your fear holds a key. You just have to unlock it. Not every thought deserves your attention. This part is about boundaries, mental ones. Just like you can say no to people who hurt you, you can say no to thoughts that bring you down. We use strong metaphors here. Your mind as a sacred temple, and you as the gatekeeper. Not every idea is allowed inside. You don't have to argue with every bad thought. You don't even have to believe them. You can simply say, "That voice doesn't speak for me." This is where true power lives. This journey doesn't end with a fight. It ends with a realization. The voice of self-doubt only had power because you thought it was you, but now you see it. You see through it. In this final section, we return to the truth. The war was never real. The voice was just a shadow, and shadows disappear in the light. You've already won just by noticing, just by remembering who you are. We'll close with a few short stories of people who broke free, not because they were fearless, but because they stopped letting fear lead. We all hear it, that quiet whisper that doubts every step we take. It shows up when you're about to try something new, speak up, or chase a dream. It tells you to stay small, stay safe. But here's the secret. That voice isn't you. It's a copy. A collection of voices you've picked up since childhood, parents, teachers, society, all blended into one constant echo inside your mind. You weren't born doubting yourself. You were taught to. In this journey, we're going to peel back the layers. We'll expose where that voice really comes from, why it's so loud, and how to finally silence it for good. The first step is realizing it's not who you are. Let's go deeper. Where does self-doubt really come from? Think about how we grow up. We're graded, judged, told what's right, what's wrong. We're rewarded for fitting in and punished for standing out. Slowly, without knowing it, we begin to shrink ourselves. This is how the system works. It doesn't just raise us. It programs us, from ads that make you feel not enough, to rules that crush your creativity. Self-doubt is built into the world around us, and the more we hear it, the more it becomes a part of us. But it's not your natural state. It's a script, a loop, and once you see it as something planted in you, not something that is you, you begin to take back control. Self-doubt isn't personal, it's historical, and if it was placed there, it can be removed. Here's the truth that changes everything. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one listening to it. Think about that. There's a space between your thoughts and the one who hears them. That space is who you really are. All that doubt, all that fear, it comes from a part of you that's scared to change. It's the ego, the version of you that's built on old beliefs and false identities. But beneath that is something deeper, still, pure. Call it awareness, consciousness, your true self. It doesn't argue, it doesn't panic, it just sees. And when you start living from that place, not the voice but the witness, the noise begins to fade. Doubt loses power when you stop believing it's the truth, because the real you doesn't doubt, it knows. Here's a strange idea. Sometimes we doubt ourselves not because we're weak, but because we're powerful. When we try to step into something greater, creativity, love, freedom, that's when the inner critic gets loud. Why? Because part of us is afraid of who we could be. This part is called the shadow. It's all the parts of you you've hidden, your boldness, your anger, your brilliance, even your joy. We push these things down to stay safe, to be liked, to belong. But when you move toward growth, that shadow rises, and doubt comes with it, not to stop you, but to test you. Are you ready to meet the parts of you you've forgotten? The voice of doubt guards the door to your greatness, and the moment you step through and it has no more power, most people wait for confidence before they act. But here's the secret. You don't need to feel confident. You just need to move. Confidence is a trick of the mind. It comes and goes, but courage is a choice. What if the voice of doubt never goes away completely? What if real freedom isn't about making it disappear, but learning not to obey it? That's the turning point. You don't have to wait to feel ready. You can take the step while the fear is there. Because the moment you act in spite of the doubt, you've already won. That's the silence you've been looking for. Now let's talk about how to truly quiet the voice of self-doubt, not by fighting it, but by understanding it. Here are 3 powerful ways. Watch your thoughts. Sit still and observe. Don't react, just watch. You'll start to see thoughts come and go, but you remain. Journal your shadow. Write down the voice of your doubt, then write back to it from your higher self. Dialogue turns the critic into a character, not a commander. Ask who's speaking. Every time you hear a limiting thought, ask, who said that first? You'll be surprised how often it's not you. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something deeper is rising. The inner critic loses control when you stop feeding it attention. You don't have to shout it down. You just have to stop letting it drive. So here's the final truth. There is nothing wrong with you, there never was. The voice of self-doubt is not a flaw. It's a sign that you've forgotten who you really are. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not less. You are the one who sees, the one who hears, the one who moves forward anyway. Silencing the voice doesn't mean destroying it. It means no longer mistaking it for truth. You are not the fear. You are the one walking through it. And the moment you realize that, the silence begins. Not empty. Not quiet, but full of clarity, peace, and power. We're not born with self-doubt, we learn it. This section takes us back to the beginning, when we were young, open, and free. But as we grew up, we were shaped by other people's words. Be quiet. Don't mess up. You should know better. These phrases sink in. They become patterns. Psychologists call this the inner critic. Ancient wisdom calls it illusion. It's a voice made of fear, not truth. And today the world keeps feeding that fear. Social media, advertising, even school systems, all pushing the idea that you're not enough as you are. By understanding where the voice comes from, we weaken. It's not your soul speaking, it's your past, and that means you can outgrow it.